Welcome to the Spiritual AI podcast, where we explore the incredible power of our inner intelligence, which I call spiritual AI. Just like a computer uses AI to process data and find solutions, our awareness and intuition can guide us through life with clarity, ease, and purpose. Each week, we'll dive into the transformative tools, spiritual insights, and practical strategies to help you awaken, amplify, and align with your inner power. I'm your host, your friend, your guide, and your fellow student, Leonie Dutoy. Come and join the awareness and intuition revolution. Good morning, amazing human. I trust you are doing well. And on today's podcast, I want to start off, first of all, with a massive disclaimer that this episode is not medical advice. I am not telling you what to do. I am not encouraging you to take the steps that I have taken, but what I want to do is I want to bring awareness to this because I believe that there are a lot of people struggling with certain aspects of what I'm going to share today, and that perhaps, like me, you have your own story to create. You have to take things into your own hands. Just because of where we're at this time of reality, essentially, right? So I'm going to be very mindful of what I say today. I am also going to perhaps speak in a little bit of code. So once you start searching on the internet for what you think I'm saying, you will find it. So you're going to have to go and do your own research because that is what I did. Hence me taking my health and my life in my own hands and taking the steps that I did. And I'm very glad I did. But I also want to do this episode because I know there's people out there struggling with perhaps the same thing. And incidentally, the episode or what's happened to me over the last 2 months, and especially in the last month, I am wondering if I was struggling with exactly the same thing when I was in my 20s, and that it wasn't actually depression, but it was something else. So I realize I'm a bit cryptic at the moment, but I'm going to dive into the episode and share my story, my experience, my journey over the last 2 months. And I'm going to try and remember the chronological order because I had notes typed out yesterday, and I had issues with my computer and I thought that it would autosave and it wasn't on, so I lost all the notes. So I'm really I'll try and stay on track and not jump around too much for you guys. So in December, I started getting this big push towards just taking my health back and really coming back to my physical body, whereas I've done a lot of the inner work. And one of the things that I kept seeing was all these parasite cleanses. So I started doing research, and then I really felt drawn to doing a cleanse. So yeah, with the research came, you can use clove water, and you can use clove water, clove tea, or cloves. You can use oregano oil, and you can use wormwood as a tincture, or in whichever way you want to drink it, tea as well, because I wanted to do it the natural way. Now, I've done oils and tinctures and things like that before, so I'm not new to this, and I knew that I was doing the right thing, and it was, it's pretty easy for me to make right now. So I started with that, and I first of all didn't like the taste of it. That's just my opinion. There's other people who absolutely love clove tea. That's besides the point. In any case, so I started with it, and I started taking it, and I started noticing that I was not feeling the best. Now, I knew that there would be, with this parasite cleanse, there would be die-off and things like that. Now, one thing that I did miss in the beginning was to use binders with the cleanse. Now, binders are things like I don't think it's bentonite clay, but definitely charcoal And you can search online, there's different types of binders that you can use to help bind the toxins that are coming from the parasites that they're releasing and the die-off symptoms. And yeah, so I didn't dive deep enough into some of the protocols. I kind of just dove in head first. Now, this will be my first tip, is to not dive in head first and to actually work with somebody or to do some proper research and make sure that you take in consideration the fact that there are going to be toxins released into your body as they die off. Some of the herbs and tonics and whatever it is that you find out there can also have an effect on the parasite, that they go into this survival mode where if once they recognize this toxin in your body, with the herb or the medicine, they immediately release more eggs so that they can survive, right? Now, obviously, if you've got more eggs, you'll end up having more parasites, and it's just, the life cycle of a parasite. So it just becomes this vicious circle. So please be very mindful that it can cause severe die-off symptoms. And it's probably best to do it with somebody, especially if you have not done any form of detox or any form of health protocol. Probably work with somebody. It will be best to work with somebody who can support you through this and actually give you the correct steps. Don't do it my way. Don't just dive in head first and then end up with, all these other things that are happening. What happened to me? So I started using those, and I did them for a little bit, and then I would take a break, and then I would kind of take drops again when I remembered, and it was kind of on and off for the whole of January. And then when it came to February, I was like, nah, now that I've seen that there's a potential of me just aggravating the parasites, them laying more eggs, I was like, no, I need to seriously do something about this and potentially go to the doctors to see if I can get a script for a very powerful medicine that's pretty much, it's really hard to get it now because of COVID and what we've gone through. And it starts with an AIV, okay? Quite often you'll hear it comes in like a paste form. And in any case, so this medicine is really hard to get. You can only get it with a script here in Australia. And even then, it's one of those medicines, due to what we've gone through COVID, there's all these new restrictions around this medication. Now, this medication is actually, it got a Nobel Peace Prize. It is one of the safest medicines on the planet. And it's used for malaria, and it's used for, people have and did use it for COVID, and it's used for parasites, and it's used for a few other things, and it is safe for use in humans and in animals. Now, going back, so in the beginning of February, I ended up going to my GP, and I explained to her what I had started. I explained to her that the minute I started the using the herbs to kill off the parasites, literally my eyesight became fuzzy overnight. It was an immediate symptom, right? My awareness, because I teach this, so spiritual AI. So for you guys who don't really know what it's about awareness and intuition, right? So my awareness and my intuition is heightened because I live this life, I teach this life. So I am very in tune with my body, and I can put things together very quickly. So the minute I started doing the parasite cleanse, I recognized that my eyesight, the deterioration of my eyes and the fuzziness of my eyes was directly connected to the cleanse. It was not because of my age, like my GP was suggesting. And when my GP suggested that, when I said my eyes became fuzzy, she asked me, how old are you? And I was like, 48, I think. I can't even remember. And she said, oh, yeah, that's the age that your eyes start going. And I said direct, I looked it straight in her eyes and I said, I don't accept that. I know that the moment I used those herbs, my eyes changed literally overnight. I said, that is not age related. That is related to toxins and something else. Now, I did not go in there not prepared. I've done a lot of research. I've seen a lot of things. I've looked at a lot of videos. I've followed a lot of doctors. So I knew that I could confidently say that that was related to that. The doctor was pretty dismissive of me, which was pretty sad to see. In any case, so I was told to just go and buy like a dewormer over the counter. It's these little chocolate squares. And if you're lucky, it covers maybe one, maybe two worms that it will detox from your body. In those little squares was all these sweeteners and things, and I react to those. So I went back to my GP and I got a script. So I was prescribed. So it's part of the same as fenbendazole. So albendazole. That's the one that I was prescribed. So I took one dose, and within a day, I recognized that I was feeling depressed. And because I struggled with depression in my 20s, I know what it feels like. And because I am so aware, I immediately recognized that this started happening like literally overnight. And that feeling of depression started growing. And within a couple of days, I started having thoughts of ending my life. Now, if you know me, you know that this is not me. I know that I'm not depressed. I know that I want to live a full and happy life. There is no ways and no reason and nothing in my life that has caused me to be in a state of depression, let alone wanting to take my own life. And then I started diving deeper because I knew that it was related to parasites. And so going back a little bit, so my entire life, even as a kid, as a young adult, moving to my own home, being married, and now here in Australia, I've always had cats. The one thing that I have never done, I think maybe as a child, I can remember being dewormed with my parents, maybe once, but never have I dewormed myself or even known about the cat parasite called Toxoplasmosis gondii. So I didn't even know about that. And the deeper I dove, the more I started realizing and the more I found out about this parasite. Toxoplasmosis. And I started looking into what are the symptoms or side effects of having this parasite in your body. Now, just going back over the last few months, even before, I think maybe this is one of the things that kind of led up to me wanting to do the parasite cleanse, was I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast. And he was talking to one of his guests. They were talking about this parasite, toxoplasmosis, and the effects that it have. Now, I'm going to explain it to you guys here, and this is just in my own words. But so Toxoplasmosis gondii is a parasite that lives in the cat's gut. Now, what it does to survive is once the cat kind of gets rid of it through its feces, so it poops into the cat litter or it poops into the sand outside, it gets disturbed and rats perhaps come past or mice comes past, and it goes into the mouse's system, into its gut. And then what it does to survive, it wants to get back into the cat's guts so that it can reproduce. So it will literally then go into and take over the cat's brain. I mean the rat, nervous function essentially. So it will take over its brain and it will turn off the fear sensors in its brain so that it's not scared of cats. And it will also make the mouse or the rat attracted to cat urine. So here's just a little, and this to me, when it kind of dropped, I was like, oh my God. You know those cat videos that you see on YouTube where you see this mouse running after the cat, jumping on it, and it's so cute, and the cat is like, what the hell? It's like running away. Guys, that is not cute. I would bet that mouse, that rat, is infected with toxoplasmosis. It is trying to get the mouse, or it's trying to get the cat to eat the mouse. That's why it's running after the cat. That's scary stuff. Now, what does that virus do to people? And here is my story. Okay, so remember when I took the albendazole and obviously the clove tea and things, what I'm thinking, and this is not proven because I actually had a stool sample taken and they did not find parasites in there. I also had my blood test done, and according to the doctors, there's nothing in my blood. Even though my eosinophils, which is a type of white blood cell that plays a role in your immune system. So in particularly fighting parasites. So when your eosinophils are, they're part of your body's defense against parasitic infection, especially worms, right? So even though my eosinophil count was high, so I think it was 1.2, and normal is between 0 and 0.5. So even though those counts were high, the doctors still dismissed the fact that I potentially could have worms and parasites in my body. Now, I did a few things to see for myself whether I had it in my poo, essentially. And so I've got proof of that, plus all the symptoms, and still I was dismissed, and still the doctors decided and said that they are not going to prescribe this medication to me. Essentially, it's ivermectin tablets, and that they don't have proof. So I don't know if the system, now I know that I've seen videos coming from the US where doctors are not allowed to tell you if you've got parasites. So I don't know if it's the same in Australia. I've got massive questions around this, but when that was their reaction, even with my eosinophils being high, and all my other functions were normal, liver, kidney, and all the other things were normal, even with that, they were still dismissive of the parasites within me, and they did not support me in writing me a script for this. Okay, so let me just go back a bit. So why do I think I have toxo? Why do I think that I have parasites? So besides the evidence in my poo sample that I did for myself, besides that evidence, besides the headaches, besides the itchiness at night. Now, if you know about parasites, you know that they come out and they lay eggs at night, and then it causes itchiness. Besides all of the obvious symptoms that I'm holding, I had, after I had taken the albendazole, I had different symptoms come up, which were directly related to symptoms that you get with toxoplasmosis poisoning, right? So with toxoplasmosis. Now, what were those symptoms? Well, first of all, my eyesight was still really fuzzy. Okay, that is one of the symptoms, the signs. I became really depressed. I started having suicidal thoughts. I became very withdrawn, like within a few days. I had headaches. I didn't sleep well. I also started getting a really stiff sore neck. Now, those are all symptoms and can be signs of toxopoisoning, because the glands in your neck, there could be parasites in your eyes, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, that is could be a clear sign of the parasite in your brain taking over your brain, wanting to kill yourself, essentially. Now, I'm not going to go and chase after cats and get the cat to eat me, but it is definitely going to have an effect on my brain. Now, once that started, I went back to my GP, and I said to her that I was having all of these symptoms, and that's when they had the blood test done, and that came back then, obviously, according to them, no, like a negative on parasites. But after I had the blood test done, I had enough. I had enough of feeling the way I was feeling. I had enough of hiding away, feeling depressed and having these suicidal thoughts. And I knew that if I wasn't going to do anything, that they were not going to help me. So I sourced some medicine. It's an IV paste. Okay, go do your research. And because I had done research, because I had seen other people on Instagram taking the paste, like opening up the box, taking the tube out, taking the paste, I had more confidence that I could use it to help fight the infection. So I sourced it, I took the first dose, and guys, I am not lying to you. Within half an hour to an hour, my eyes was clear. Now, I wear glasses for reading, but the fuzziness that I experienced that caused me to even not be able to read with my glasses on and made it really difficult, that had left, that immediately stopped. How can that not be a sign of an infection, something happening within my body? Okay. Then, but by the afternoon, the depression and the feelings of leaving this world stopped completely. By the following morning, I took a second dose and I was feeling better than I had felt even before I started taking all the medicine for the parasite cleanse. By day 3, I was feeling better than I have in a very, very, very long time. Again, guys, this is the disclaimer. This is not medical advice, but it makes me wonder, okay, how many people out there with depression, with feelings of depression, okay, is stuck with an overload of parasites. What if you've got animals, like you can speak to any, aware practitioner out there, doctor or specialist, and they will tell you that every person on this planet has got parasites in one form or another, because it's in our food. It's inevitable. It's in our food. If you eat sushi, you definitely have parasites, okay? If you eat meat that's undercooked, you've got parasites. If you walk barefoot outside, you've got parasites. Now, this is not to scare you, and I feel that this is also one of those things that I just want to leave in your awareness. There is this big hype going around that there are parasites everywhere, and it is to the point where it could become a source of fear. So guys, be very mindful that when you start looking for these things, you're going to see more and more and more and more of it. And there are some people out there that actually carry there's an energy of fear around how they present it to the world. So don't get sucked into that. You have parasites. It's part of nature. There's fish with parasites. There's cats, dogs, parasites, horses, parasite. There are parasites everywhere. It's part of life. We just need to do what we can to cleanse. We go for a bath at night or in the morning because we want to get rid of the dirt on the outside of our bodies, right? It's the same thing. If you don't bath, you're going to get stinky, and people don't not going to be going to want to be around you. So these things are there. There are viruses, bacteria everywhere, so don't get sucked into and become fearful of this. But be mindful that you have it and that you need to support your body in a healthy way and start doing the things on a regular basis to clear out the parasites to help your body function better. So don't get sucked into this, right? So, with my wandering around depression and the effects that it had on me. Now, obviously, again, coming back to the awareness and intuition, I live my life by this. I teach my clients and my students how to become really aware and trust their intuition to guide them. If you dial in your awareness and start using your intuition and live a life where you're guided by your intuition, and you start doing research on parasites and in all the different ways that it can show up, you are going to see that there is a lot of truth that is being hidden from us. So one of the big things that is coming up more and more is that there is more and more proof that, for instance, cancer is parasites, that MS is related to parasites in the spine and in the brain. There's a few other places. Now, I'm not going to dive into this. Guys, go and do your own research. This is not medical advice, okay? Go and do your own research. The fact is that if I didn't have the awareness, then this feeling of depression and that the overwhelm that I was feeling would have taken me down a very different road. So I want to encourage you to tap into your awareness and intuition. Now, if you want to know how to start doing it and to start becoming aware, how to build awareness, if you want to know what an intuition is, it's a gut feeling, right? If you want to know what it is, how to listen to it, how to start trusting it, I've got a awareness and intuition masterclass that is still available on my website, and I've made it $1 because I want you to live a life of awareness, a life of clarity, ease, and purpose. So go and grab it because it's not going to be available for long. I'm going to take it down. I'm busy rebranding. I'm busy redoing. I'm creating a course on spiritual AI, on awareness and intuition. So that will go away. But in the meantime, it is $1. And in there, you are going to find about an hour masterclass on awareness and intuition. You will find a PDF information in there, which is, let me just go and have a look and see what everything's in there. So there's a awakening awareness PDF, which's got a 30-day awareness accelerated journal prompts in there. There is an intuition PDF in there. I've got the traffic light game in there, and there's 13 other ways to build your connection with your intuition. There is also a mini guided meditation in there called Aware. So there's a lot in there for $1, and it will change your life. If you start using and implementing these things and just become more aware and start tapping into your intuition, it's going to change your life. And it's also going to help you then if you come into these moments in life where something happens to you, or you eat something and then you have a side effect, or you start feeling, like absolute crap. Your awareness and intuition will kick in and tell you that it's related to that food. So then you don't struggle for months and years on end eating this thing, thinking that you are depressed, ending up on medication that the pharmacies, the industry wants to give to you. Awareness and intuition will change your life. It will help you navigate and process things in the moment. So go grab it. Don't even think about it. It's $1, and you start practicing awareness and intuition. Now, let's say that you are not into the whole intuition thing and you don't understand the words and you don't want to get into that. You've got a gut. you've had a gut feeling about somebody, it is essentially just a different word of saying it's a gut feeling. If you don't want to do the intuition, you just want to tap into the awareness, then you can just do that. And even that will change your life. I hope that this episode has brought you some form of insight and awareness, and that it will help you navigate something that you are going through in the moment. Okay? I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to share this episode with your friends and your family. Get it out there, because we need to let people know that if they are struggling with depression, okay, there could be another reason for why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. All right. It is really important that we get the message out there, because nobody else is going to do this. We have to do this. We have to help people. It is my purpose is to bring awareness and insight to the world. Awareness and intuition will change your life. And if I can help one person navigate their parasite infection, their depression, become more aware of their own body, their own healing, their own health, then it will just fill my heart up with so much love. So share this episode with people. If you have gone through a similar experience, feel free to reach out, leave a comment. Let's share with the world, because you know what? If I don't share my story with the world, then other people out there are going to sit in a space of it's only me. I'm the only one that's experiencing this. The more we share stories, the more we get this out there, the more people can see that they are not alone in this world. And my God, do people who are depressed need to know that they are not alone. And I can say this because I've been there more than once in my life. So I know what it is to sit in that darkness, but I'm here to tell you that that darkness doesn't have to stay, and that there is potentially a different reason for your darkness. So don't just take the diagnosis or the words that your GP is speaking into your life as the absolute truth. Take your health, take your mental health, take your life and everything that is you into your own hands and start doing research. Start finding the reason for certain things that are happening in your life. If you're struggling with cancer, don't just stay with what mainstream is telling you. Do your research. If you're struggling with MS, don't just sit there and take the diagnosis. Do your research. Find doctors, find people, find specialists who are spreading the truth and starting, they breaking the matrix, right? They're starting to get the truth out there. So do your homework. Again, this is not medical advice, but do your research. Okay, this comes back to don't claim the diagnosis. Don't claim what people say you are or you should think you are. I've done a podcast episode on that, so go listen to it. Don't claim that. You can heal your body. You have the ability to. And if there's something out there for you, your awareness and intuition can guide you to that. All right, I'm going to leave the episode there. Live your life in awareness and guided by the voice of your soul, and you will have so much more clarity, ease, and purpose. Don't forget, go and grab the Awareness and Intuition Masterclass on my website. I will put the link in the show notes for you. Take care. Thank you for joining me on the Spiritual AI podcast. Don't forget to rate and share the show with your friends. It will only take a few seconds. So go ahead, go and rate the show, share it with a friend, spread the message of the power that we hold within each one of us, our awareness and our intuition. Let's create a revolution. Let's change the world. I'll see you next time.